we're recording. Happy third week of February. I hope you guys had a fabulous Valentine's Day. Wanted to kick off things with recognition. So, what shout outs do y'all have for the past week?
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I want to shout out Team Fit and Nerdy, our Team Cup team. We're number 14 in the Central region, and we found out yesterday that we are going to have a exclusive call with Megan Davies. We haven't found out what all the details are yet, but that's to come, I think, next Monday. So we're pretty excited about that.
Very cool. You guys will have to catch us up on what you learn and all the good stuff. Super proud of y'all. What other shout outs do y'all have? I see that there's some new faces here and I love it. So if you're a new coach, you can totally unmute, and if your coach is not on, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Aspen. I just officially started coaching kind of in the past week, kind of as a hobby coach. I have a full-time teaching job, part-time grad school, but I'm dabbling in this as well. I'm really excited to be part of this positive community, and my coach is Amanda Milano.
Welcome, girl.
Hi, I'm Kayla. Oh, sorry. My coach is McKenna, and I just started the 13th or yeah. So.
Welcome, McKenna.
Yeah.
Tell us.
So I just started about 3 weeks ago with Amanda as my coach, and my two new coaches that just signed up Saturday, Kayla and Nadia, are both on here tonight.
Welcome, y'all. See, proof, you guys, that you can begin as a coach, and like the next week you can have coaches of your own and you'll figure it out together. So I think that's super important to know that like you don't have to be at a certain rank or help a certain amount of people, that you can bring your crew with you at any standpoint of the business. So glad y'all are here, and hopefully you learned something tonight. Any other shout outs? Morgan, you got anything in your cozy robe? All right, I'm going to shout out my Team Cup team. Oh, go for it.
No, I didn't have any recognition. I was just going to say I just got out of the shower.
No judgment. I don't have a bra on, so whatever. Yes, this is recorded and everyone can laugh at it. I wanted to shout out my Team Cup team. Vilma, Yana's on here. Emily and Christine, I know that this month has kind of been challenging in just like different ways, but we're ranked 120 in the Northeast, and there's a lot of Northeast teams. So we actually went up from last week. So super proud of y'all. And hopefully tonight is going to give you guys just like a down and dirty, this is what it takes to get stuff done. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go over a few announcements, and then we're just going to take like literally 25 minutes, and I'm going to show you how to hustle, because most of the time, well, all of us are busy. So for those of you that are new coaches, every single person on here has a full-time job outside of coaching. So you're not alone in your busyness or obstacles or those sorts of things. But I think what happens is we get stuck in like trying to figure a lot of stuff out, that we don't take action, and then we get frustrated and we want to quit because we don't see results. And the things that have helped me is really focusing on the impact and income driven activities, so that I'm always hitting my goals. I'm always helping new people. I'm always staying excited about what I'm doing. And this is, for those of you that don't know me, I've been coaching for 6.5 years. So I'm going to show you guys some tools, where to find things. But first, I wanted to remind you guys, Carl just posted, and for those of you that don't know, Carl is CEO of Beachbody. Well, two big things. I guess we haven't really discussed this. You may or may not have seen on the news over the last week that they are in the works of a merger with a company that provides like spin bikes, as well as previous, like, I don't know if they're heads of the company, I forget their actual titles, but they were involved with Disney Plus and TikTok. So it's a really great time to be a coach. If you guys don't know, like, Carl is a freaking genius when it comes to business and providing top of the line products and experiences. And it's just really exciting to know that we're constantly evolving and gearing up for something really big, becoming a public company potentially in the next quarter. I think that's super, super cool. So do your research on that. Can't talk much about it. But what I can talk about is Carl posted, this was today, actually like 10, 20 minutes ago, that we're starting an invite-a-thon, which perfectly aligns to this team call because we were not supposed to do a power hour tonight, but I was like, I just feel like we all need to get down and dirty and do some work together. So basically what happens is from today to the end of the month, you get a certain amount of entries based on how many people you invite to your bod group, and they're going to pay you $100 depending on how many people you're helping. So essentially you want to help as many people and invite them to your bod group. Pretty simple. So the people that you're enrolling with new challenge packs or new products, they're going to count towards those entries. I mean, pretty cool to get $100 from the CEO just for sharing what you guys love, right? It aligns perfectly to what we're doing. The other thing I wanted to mention, and for new coaches, we are very organized in this team. We like to keep things simple. So everything that you need to know is on the pinned team calendar posts at the top of the hub. You'll see that there's links for everything there in one spot that is used regularly over and over again. So like the team call link, the workout link, access to the new coach training is there. The whole calendar for the month is there, so you know what's going on. Just like to reiterate that keep it simple, everything's in one spot, and make sure you do your new coach training. So some of the stuff we go over tonight, you might be like, what? And I'm going to be like, go do your new coach training and then come back and revisit this call because every call we have is recorded. So, all right, you guys ready for 25 minutes of work? I wanted to show you guys, because we've never gone over this, a cool little tool. Can you guys see my screen? So if you log into your Coach Online office and you click Grow My Business and you go down here to Daily Activity Tracker, okay, that's all I did to get to this page. This is your fun tracking system that if you've never had a tracker, you don't know what I'm talking about, it's already here for you and you can start with this. So it's very simple. Obviously, the first thing always is to take care of yourself. I think you guys pretty much know that. I don't need to tell you to work out or drink your shake. And if I do, you got to start there. But what we're really going to focus on tonight is this connect, invite, follow up section. And we're going to cut in half the time it says here, because again, we're all busy. We like to keep these calls about 30 minutes. So some days I may get 20 minutes in, some days I may get 5 minutes in. That's okay. The goal isn't to be perfect, but the goal is to show up every day and do something. And this is a pretty new tool in here, so I really wanted to highlight it for those of you that have been around for a little bit. It's a great way for you to see, okay, did I do this or did I not? And it will update the percentage here. And if you're type A, you probably like having something to check off. So we're going to go through and do this for 10 minutes, initiate connections and expand your network. And what I want this to be is an open forum for those of you guys that have been around the block on what do you do in those 10 minutes? Like, where would a new coach start? So I'm going to set a timer, but I'm going to call on somebody in the group to share how you'd initiate and connect to explain to a new coach to start doing that. Who wants to share?
I'll share something. Right now is Vegan Baltimore Week, or Baltimore Vegan Week. And so I've been going to different vegan restaurants that I like and then looking for people who have liked their posts or maybe were featured in their stories and then commenting like, oh, I've been wanting to try this place. Like, how is it? And then starting a conversation about that.
Love that. So nothing to do with health and fitness really, but all things that she connects and enjoys. So I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes. And I want you guys to just spend time being a friend on your platform. Literally, what would you say to your friend when they pass you on the street? When you see their name on your screen, talk to them like they would be a real human being. So we're going to play some music, we're going to put on a timer, and we're going to get it done. So you want to have as many touch points as possible in that time frame. And of course, unmute, ask questions. It's not like don't talk time period, but I want to make it fun too. All right, guys, putting on 10 minutes and let's do it. And I'll share something I'm doing. I love charcuterie boards, and there's a lot of new Instagram accounts of that, especially around me. So I'll go to those pages and look who's liking them and look at their pages and like and comment on their stuff and follow them. So that's another idea you could approach it. All right, guys, 5 minutes left. Who can you make smile today? Who can you send a nice message to? That's another way I like to approach it. Like, what can you do to make someone feel good tonight? Give you some beats to get excited. Meant to have y'all do a dance party before we started, but I'll make you do it at the end. One minute. How many people can you make happy tonight? Alexa, stop. All right. Time's up. How many connections did you make? If you were to scroll your messages, I'm guessing you guys are mostly on Insta or Facebook. How many touch points did you have? You could put it in the chat or unmute. I had I have 15. 7 Sarah had, 6 Morgan had, 7 stories. Not that it's a competition whatsoever, but the idea tonight is to show you to like stop thinking and just take action, right? Because the more you sit there and like, what should I say? What are they gonna think? You're never gonna get your work done and you guys don't have time. So that's the whole point of sitting down and doing this short little work session. All right, so the next thing on, did anyone have any questions with that before I move on to the next thing? Was that helpful? New coaches, you still with me? We're not crazy yet? You're not scared off? The main thing behind this is it's kind of like a funnel, right? So you have to connect. It's like a building a relationship and dating. Like if you're on your first date, right? Like you're asking all the questions, you're getting to know them. What's their background? What's their job like? What's their family? It's the same thing with your business. So don't overthink it and just be a human being. All right, so next activity is invite people to join a BOD group or learn about coaching. So I would love for some of you guys to share what invite you are using currently in the chat for some of the new coaches. I'll share that I come up with a different invite each month since we have a different themed group each month. And I just copy paste personally. This is for me because I don't want to think about it. And to me, the conversation happens when they say, tell me more. Then we're having a more personalized conversation about their goals and what they're looking for and that sort of thing. Anybody else want to speak to inviting? How you go about it? Sarah, I'm putting you on the spot. How do you approach inviting?
So far, what's worked the best is when I started posting on Facebook and going through the people who liked or commented something about it and messaging and just saying like, hey, thanks for reaching out. I've been really nervous to post my journey on here. Thanks for all the support. And then I've had like 3 or 4 people come back and say, I wanted to reach out and ask questions, but it felt like it would be weird. I was like, no, it's not weird at all. Like I'm just starting my journey. What's working for you? And that's how the conversations have been going. I've got like 3 or 4 feelers out there of people being more interested. So mostly moms, because that's mostly what I post is my kids. So it helps to have things to talk about. But yeah, just putting myself out there and then, scrolling through who liked it, or if I see someone pop up like a bunch of times, like 3 or 4, pictures or posts in a row, I'll
Love that. So if you're a new coach and you haven't made your coming out post, this could be a great 5 minutes to just take some time and put the thought to that, because Sarah's exactly right. Like as a new coach, the people that are liking and commenting on your posts are the people that it's a light bulb for you to say they're interested. They want to know more. Maybe they're scared to ask me, and that gives me the opportunity to connect with them. So any other, Morgan, Morgan shared an invite in the chat. Do you want to share anything about inviting?
Yeah, I just shared the one that I've been using this month in the chat, and I always make sure that I have some sort of like connection with them before I send it. So it's not just like completely out of the blue, like cold messaging, but that's just how I prefer to do it. I will say like towards the beginning of the month, I make my wording like, are you interested this month? And then towards the end of the month, I'll say like this month or next month. I don't know. I just started doing that this month. So it feels like good for me,
Love it.
So there's no pressure on on their side.
All right, I'll put my invite in the chat. So I would say, yeah, if you've never posted before, spend these next 5 minutes and start crafting your first post. And then you can always put it in the Hub Coach message pod and we can help you kind of edit and tweak it so that you have that ready to go. But for the rest of y'all, you have stories up, you have posts up. That means you have an automatic list to go invite and give this opportunity to. Cool? All right, 5 minutes is going on, music's going back up, and we're flying through this, guys. I want a fun song. So what are we going to do? That's not what I wanted. So we're going to change it. All right, 5 minutes starts now. Aspen, that's a great question. Where do you invite them to? And the cool thing about our groups is that they can start any day they want. So don't overthink the start date and just send the invite and you'll figure out what date works for them to start. But great question. Alexa, stop. All right, that was the 5 minutes. You guys heard it. How do you feel? Are you like, you're rushing me? That's the point. You should feel that way because the more you get a timer on your booty, the faster you'll start doing these activities, the less you'll think about them. That's the whole point. So how many invites did y'all get in? And if you did your post, do you feel good about it? Tell me all the things. I know you're like, I gotta pull up my chat and figure this out. And one invite, one check-in, 5 invites. Awesome, Lana. Catherine, I'm challenging you to double that tomorrow. So the reason that I say that I have like 1 invite for the month is then I don't have to think about it. And I don't spend a lot of time like totally personalizing it and that sort of thing. So if you guys need help coming up with an invite for the month, let's chat more about it in the coach message pod this week. But the goal is everybody got an invite out. So that's freaking awesome. And you guys should be proud. All right, last activity, and then we'll be done, you guys. Obviously, these aren't all the things on the tracker. You'll see there's other things on here, but where am I at? These to me are your impact and income building activities. So the last thing is following up, okay? This is probably the number one thing that people think that you don't need to do or they forget to do. This is honestly how I've built 95% of my business. Think about it. When you go put something in a cart on some random website on your computer screen and you want to think about it, what happens? You get a reminder email in your inbox saying you left this in here. We wanted to remind you if you still were interested in it. You need to be that for somebody that asks you for more info. So again, for new coaches, you have to kind of focus on those first 2 activities to get to this point to follow up. But say you send an invite out, someone saw it, and they keep watching your stories, they keep interacting with your stuff, don't be afraid to follow back up. Most of the time, people need to see things multiple times, and they might be interested and then ghost you and come back in 6 months. So a great way for me to follow up is just like, hey, I'm closing my group for the month, just want to follow up. I know we chatted about this before. Would you still be interested? Like, it doesn't have to be this big, huge thing. People want you to be checking in on them because if they're anything like me, I'm a total squirrel brain and I forget. So any other follow-ups? Emily, you got any tips on following up? Any feedback? And you're gonna be on mute, girl, so you gotta unmute yourself.
I'm so exhausted.
It's okay.
Usually with follow-ups, I always like go back to like see what our conversation was before and just to see, like, check in on something that like they've mentioned that they're working on or something that's going on in their life.
So true. Like, it could be, how's your dog doing? Because they said no because their dog was sick the month before, or something like that. It doesn't have to be like, did you lose the 20 pounds yet? You know what I mean? So
yeah, someone the other day, one of my follow-ups was like, oh, like it's our anniversary. And it's just like, oh, like hope you had a wonderful anniversary. Like something just simple to know that you're still on their mind and you're thinking of them.
Absolutely. So we're going to spend 5 minutes and then we'll be done, guys. All right. And again, new coaches, work on getting that post out or interacting with people and starting those conversations. All right, timer's on and we'll finish up this party, guys. And I feel like the song's necessary. 1.5 minutes. I'll put a good one to finish it. Pressure for a song.
Downtown, hear my sound. No one knows me yet, not right now. But I am gonna say this feeling in motion. I walk the downtown, hear my sound. I say that I want it, be free. Don't fight it, but if I'm gonna go for it, I'll remember that. I say that I want it, be free. Don't fight it, but if I'm gonna go for it, I'll remember that. I got nothing without saying. I got nothing unless I don't care. I'm still something if I got man, I'm a free woman.
All right, guys. Alexa, stop. How do you feel? Aspen gives me 2 thumbs up. So from a new coach, I will friggin' take that. And McKenna. Okay. We didn't scare them off. So again, the whole point is to not like figure all of this out, but now you have a tool, you know what's in your online office if you're brand new, kind of where to start. Obviously get your new coach training done first. For the rest of y'all, I really encourage you, like if you're sitting down to do work, post in the message pod, you know, like all of us thrive off of sitting down and doing it together. Like you probably got way more done tonight than if you were by yourself, is what I'm guessing, because it happens for me too. And highly recommend having a dance party before you do these things. Because if you sit down at your desk and you're like, oh, I just sat here for 8 hours and I don't want to sit here and do more work, people feel your energy, right? So when I'm having those days, I'm like, throw on some Beyonce and let's freaking dance it out, okay? So the month is not over. Y'all, promo codes got refilled. And if you don't have them, who cares? New coaches, you should definitely have them. but let's go change some lives. Like, let's finish this month strong. There's people out there that need what we have, that need what you have. And let's keep using the message pod for support because it's been way too quiet this week. And I love you all, and I want all of us to rock our goals for the end of the month. Any other closing thoughts?
I was going to ask about the flash sale because I
Ooh.
wasn't really sure what that included.
Okay, good. Thank you. That was something I was supposed to say. So obviously Jess Gill is in Texas and definitely being affected by the snowstorm. And so she usually heads that up. So that is something that's on my plate, and I will get you guys the info by the end of the week. But basically, we've run it in a Google form. So I will create a Google form for you guys. This is just another extra way that you can create momentum as you're talking to people. And I'll break down all the details for you guys, but you will have your own individual Google form that you will send to your people, and you give them a gift card for their purchase. So basically you're taking part of your commission and giving it back to the person for enrolling. It's just a nice way to give back, do a little bit extra for people, but it's up to you to do that. So again, I will get all the details. Thanks for calling me out, Moana, because I need to get on my game. But it won't be like another Facebook group or anything like that. It will all be individual. So I'll make the Google form. You guys can copy it and make whatever you want to do with it. And it'll be run and sent through each of you individually to your people. Cool. All right, guys, thank you for being here. I appreciate you all. I hope you have a fabulous end of your week, and let's get the Coach Pod filled with some love because I think we all need it. All right, guys, have a great week.